Hi guys, thanks for joining me once again. It's the second week of Advent and it's time for a little bit of reflection. So the second week in Advent is traditionally devoted to the idea of peace. So in our first week we had hope, and this week we're thinking about peace. When we think of Jesus, one of the titles that is often given to him is that he is the Prince of Peace. And that is a little bit unusual for the Jewish people who were expecting and waiting for their Messiah. They were kind of expecting a sort of warrior king who would vanquish their foes, defeat all of their enemies, and lead them triumphantly to the promised land and throughout the rest of their history. And yet Jesus didn't arrive like that. He didn't arrive on a chariot with an army. He arrived very quietly, in the night, in a quiet place, gently, peacefully. And Jesus is known as someone who brings peace to the world. With Jesus, there is peace. And when we think of peace, we might think of wars ending or conflicts being over. And that's certainly something that's very important for us to work towards, both globally, but particularly in our own lives. Maybe during this Advent, you might devote a little bit of time to thinking about some people who maybe you've fallen out with and trying to mend and repair those relationships. But I think what's important to know about Jesus is that he is the Prince of Peace, but that doesn't mean there won't be difficulty. That doesn't mean there won't be challenges. That doesn't mean there won't be upset and difficulty. When we think about the stories from Jesus' life, the disciples still encountered trials and challenge even when Jesus was there. If we think about the scripture story of the storm when the disciples were in the boat, that storm still existed. That challenge, that trial, that difficulty was still there, but Jesus was the one who calmed it. And from that we can learn a lot about how to treat conflict and difficulty in our own lives. Jesus teaches us that, okay, there might be difficulty, there might be trouble, there might be trial, but if we turn to him, there is peace and rest. I think about my own life. I think about the last year. As I've said before, I've really struggled with, particularly with the first lockdown, particularly with all of the difficulty and challenge that came from that. But one of the things that brought me most peace, most comfort, most help in those times was prayer, was turning to the Lord with those troubles, leaning on him and resting in his loving embrace. And this Advent, I think, is a perfect time maybe for you to try that yourself. Maybe to turn to God with your difficulties and say, bring some peace to my life. Bring some calm, bring some rest to these difficult waters that I'm facing. When we read scripture, we see so many times that God is seen as this source of rest, this source of peace in a difficult world. We see God helping people overcome difficulties and challenges. We don't see God removing those difficulties and challenges, but God is there to help those people get through them. And the Psalms are a really beautiful place for us to turn. If you just want a little bit of scripture to reflect upon, the Psalms are a really beautiful place to go for that. And in Psalm 4:8, it says, "In peace I will lie down in sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." I'll just say that again. In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. So I just want to invite you to have a few moments of reflecting on how God brings peace to your life. That might always be difficult to see. That might be something that you struggle with, but God is there ever present in your life. And if in those moments of difficulty and challenge you turn to him, he'll bring you peace. So whatever it is that you need God to bring peace to, take some time to turn to him now and offer him that. So I hope that was something and some time that was useful to you. And I hope over the rest of Advent you can continue to reflect on the idea of peace, where peace exists in your life, where you need peace, and how God can help bring you that peace. Please pray for me. I'll be praying for you, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.